edition of World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. And welcome to the second wave of the second World Economic Depression. After the events of this past week, there can be no reasonable doubt for any sane person not clogged to the gills by Austrian or some other obscurantist ideology. We are dealing with a massive world economic and financial depression of incalculable proportions, of cataclysmic dimensions. This is now hitting the world full force. We've seen chaos in Greece due to the insane austerity program, the desire to squeeze hedge fund profits out of the flesh and blood of the people of Greece, a futile but also a genocidal effort that kills. Austerity kills far more than the few victims whose lives were taken by the usual anarchist police agents in Athens, the usual provocateurs sent in by the deep state. We've got Greece descending into chaos. The word this morning is that the European banking system, as of right now, and that's Friday, May 7th, 2010, the European banking system is seizing up. The European credit markets are frozen, paralyzed. Interbank lending has come to a halt. Money markets and so forth are also non-functional. Now, the Europeans never had as much depth in these markets as the U.S. side. And still now, the European Central Bank, led by insane monetarists, the Bundesbank clique, led by this Axel Weber, seek to impose their lunatic monetarism on the rest of them. And Monsieur Trichet, otherwise known as Monsieur qui triche, the cheater, since tricher, of course, in French means to cheat, as at cards, Trichet is so foolish that he does not realize it's up to him, if he wants to keep his system going, to buy Greek government bonds, and I would say more constructively, to extend 0% credit for production to somebody who wants to keep a business open in the sense of something that produces a tangible physical product in the area of commodity production. And then, of course, yesterday, the abyss gaped on Wall Street. The 1,000-point fall of the Dow Jones Industrial Average within just a few minutes at quarter to three, on Thursday, May 6th, which has spread panic. This is now a world panic. The question is, we hear from the various idiot correspondents on the Wall Street-controlled media, will the Greek contagion come to the United States? Well, it already has. Minus 1,000 on the Dow. And, of course, make no mistake, the recovery, the revival of the Dow Jones average after that, it's not due to bargain hunting, not due to cooler heads prevailing. This is largely, almost exclusively, the work of the Plunge Protection Team, the PPT, the President's Working Group on Financial Markets, which goes back to 1988, January 1988. Nicholas Brady, soon to become Secretary of the Treasury in the first administration of Mad Dog Bush, the elder, set up that Brady system of drugged markets. First published reference to this entire system is in George Bush, the Unauthorized Biography. Buy a copy through tarpley.net. But it's the PPT, Plunge Protection Team, President's Working Group on Financial Markets, that brought that back. We had a very interesting game of headlines this past week. Wall Street Journal on Thursday headlines, Europe crisis deepens as chaos grips Greece. Accent on chaos. This morning's Washington Post, Friday, May 7th, 2010. Chaos on Wall Street. So from Athens, and they were laughing at the Greeks and their chaos, a small country fighting to survive against the monstrous powers, the Molochs and Mammons of the international financier oligarchy, the International Monetary Fund, the monetarist European central bank, the Eurogarchs of the European Commission in Brussels. The Wall Street Journal thought that was funny. Chaos grips Greece. Now, Washington Post, chaos on Wall Street on a day of global turmoil. Dow is briefly down nearly 1,000 points. We'll get into what happened there. It's not a glitch. It's a depression. It's a world economic depression. You're in a second panic phase, and we'll go through the three waves of the depression that we can, I think, now foresee. Well, we've gone through one, and we're in the second one now. We've been talking about this for months on this program. The Dow was down 1,000, and they say, oh, it came back. Yeah. This morning, Friday, May 7th, the Dow was again down about 300 points, and it's been jumping around. Absolute chaos in the Dow here on Friday. This after, of course, the European markets. We've just had a harrowing night. Japan is down 3.5% for the second day in a row. Japan is now down about 7% in 2 days after their Golden Week holiday came to an end. Spain is down about 11% in 1 week this past week. Just overnight, the British stock market down 2.5%, the German stock market down 3.25%, the French stock market down 3.5%, Greece down 3%, Portugal down 3%, most European bourses, stock exchanges down between 2 and 3%. We can be fairly sure, and this is a pattern that you probably observed back in the crash of the dot-com bubble, that when you have a dive of these markets of this type, even though the plunge protection team can bring it back, ultimately prices will go where they were, and I'm sure we'll be back down to 98.90 on the Dow within a couple of weeks at the very, very most. So this is a world panic. And again, nobody in his right mind can think that this is the normal business cycle. This is a breakdown crisis. It is a disintegration, as we will point out. But now the immediate issue, what happened on Thursday to get this chaos going? It's estimated that within 10 minutes, $1 trillion of paper value was wiped out as a result of what? A glitch? A fat finger? Did it come from Citibank? Citibank denies it. We just had Rick Santelli on CNBC pointing out that it's impossible to put in billion instead of million on these contracts because the specific kind of contract, meaning derivative, that was being traded, the maximum you can buy at any one time is 2,000 contracts. So the theory that somebody put in billion when they meant to put in million or vice versa is impossible. This is all garbage. It's not a glitch. It's not a typo. This is quite possibly somebody who had a game system, since the entire thing is built up for high-speed trading now. It, of course, means that the average person should not be in this market. You're insane to hold stocks. You're insane to be a day trader. That was always clear. But in this kind of a situation, when you've got massive program trading, high-frequency trading, and flash trading going on, this is no place for the average person. This is rigged, drugged, and we'll be back in a minute here on World Crisis Radio.